Basketball is my life. I have nothing else.
This is incredible. This is the best grateful I've ever heard.
Shooters. That's what we do.
Shooters, a basketball podcast. Let's go.
I'm going to lead us in. I don't care. We didn't even discuss who's leading us in. Season 2, episode 10. It's a nice sounding episode headline. Happy birthday, Milton Doyle, if you're listening. I hope you are. Happy birthday tomorrow for my lovely Jess over there. She can't hear me, but if she can, I'll talk a bit louder. I got nothing. Anyway, Jack, how you doing?
I'm doing good. We were just having a good chuckle because I'm a bit of a weirdo, and today I was lifting at the gym, and so I left my water bottle there. So, we're preparing. There's always something slightly going wrong at the start. My webcam, my GoPro was struggling, and my backlight. So if you watch these, you can see I got a beautiful little backlight was flashing and going crazy. So I was like, drink break, Darren, please. And Darren, what did I pull out when I was about to have this drink break?
It was basically just picture what they call a goon bag. If you don't know what that is, it's just like a big, foil bag where you have to lift up from the top and pour it down into you. So it was quite a good visual. But he promises me it was just water, just, staying hydrated, which I believe you.
100%, and it's my favorite brand of water. It's the Tasmanian mountain water. I don't know what it's called actually. It's just the Tasmanian mountain water. I promise you, it is the best tasting water. You get it in these little big cardboard boxes, 10-liter bag. It's like goon bag, by the way, is like really cheap wine comes in it. If you know.
Yeah.
And so I was just having a big sip and it was a good little giggle. But enough about that, Darren. Tell us about your week. How you been doing? How was your weekend? What's going on in the life of Darren?
Well, I was actually just going to just laugh to myself that I was going to make a joke about times are tough when you go 0-2 over the weekend, and that's what you resort to, that big goon bag. But hey, we can dive into that later. Times are tough in Tasmania suddenly. Not really. What I've been doing, I told you it's the season of 30ths, just more 30th birthdays. So I'm already 30, so I feel like I'm old these days compared to some of the other people around me. But no, that's pretty much it. Bit of basketball, bit of that, bit of family catch-ups. That's always good. As you said, you got to make time for them. My brother's he's in New York now on his honeymoon. So there we go. He'll be back soon. But that's all that's really happening in my world. What about you? Give us something off court.
Wow, a little bit of honeymoon action in New York. That sounds fun.
Yes.
Well, in my week, going up to Brisbane's always nice because I get to see my parents. Always a small little catch-up, nothing too crazy, but seeing family. Always good. My mum and dad, they were doing well, got a big kiss on the cheek, and so my life's pretty good in that area. And then tomorrow, Beth is coming down. So this is very, very nice. And it's always good to see family and then obviously to see Beth, because when I don't see Beth, it's like the pressure and like the importance of basketball like slowly builds. So, like, if you guys are listening and starting to know me right now, like, it's hard for me to turn off. It's hard for me to not think about how to be improving. What am I currently doing? Like, planning workouts, planning, reading, researching. It's hard for me to switch off, and with that, over time comes a wear down factor where like basketball constantly creeps up in importance in my life in terms of like results start to matter a bit more, stuff along those lines. So it's always really nice to get a reset with Beth, just enjoy the present moment, have a little peace of mind. And I'm looking forward to that this week.
Sounds like a wholesome week. Family, Beth, parents, everyone. That's good. That's what we like to hear. Because like you said, I'm assuming a lot of athletes would be like yourself, and it'd be hard to switch off, especially when, I don't know, you get some sort of pressure or some expectations from yourself and from the team and everything. So it's just a big world of basketball that would be hard to step out of sometimes, I'm sure. But I was going to try to phrase this in a way like, I don't know, what's the best outlet for you sometimes? Like whether it's your writing, whether it's your, I don't know, finding just like immersing yourself in a TV show, even though I think you said you're not a big TV show kind of guy, but what's the best outlet you reckon? What's the easiest way just to switch off everything basketball?
It's a good question. It's definitely Beth. And that's just like hanging out. Like we could be doing anything together. And like that was like meeting her. This is some cute stuff right here, but meeting her was like the first time I'd ever really felt it in my life, which is a pretty crazy statement, but it was the first time I'd ever felt like presence. And I think like being in the moment. And then like I realized like, wow, this is really good stuff. And like, this is fun, not just Beth, but being present. And that's really a big part of what led me to like mindfulness and meditation and stuff like that. And so it's still hard for me to switch off when I'm not concentrating on switching off. I know that makes like
Yeah.
sounds a little weird. So I'll do like my morning routines like huge for that. Like when I'm doing my morning routine, I'm present. When I'm doing my breath work, my mindfulness, when I'm doing things like ice tubs, and putting myself in those like kind of situations to force myself to be present. But then to deep dive into stuff, I can't really watch TV shows or movies because they don't keep my brain going enough to switch me over. They don't interest me enough. I'm not learning enough. So recently it's really been like creating that content and writing and learning about that has really like I can get deep in that and kind of find that little bit of a flow state. And whether that's like video editing or writing or creating a script or recording the script, like recording it. So I've been definitely enjoying that side, or sitting here doing a podcast like this stuff, creating content, I would say is for sure the thing where I can find that flow state and can switch me off.
Yeah, no, it's a good thing, and I think you need like a few different sources of it, like you said. Like you certainly have lots going on, whether it's the content stuff or Beth or anything like that. But I was going to say, good thing that you don't watch movies because, well, I don't know. You said TV shows, but I'm going to say movies because I've got a thing lately. I'm convinced no movie these days knows how to finish. Like, it basically doesn't have a good ending. No movie ends well these days, and me and Jess were watching one the other night. It's like it's solid, it's pretty good, and then it just ends in a way like you're just like, I didn't spend 2 hours here for that ending. I need something more. I need like a full stop. It's just a pet peeve lately, and yeah, it's shitting me. It's annoying me.
That's fair enough. Well, obviously you're into creating content. You do a great job with your photography, video. Now you're in the podcast. Does writing stories or analyzing stories, is that something you've done, or would it ever dive into?
I mean, maybe. I mean, I suppose it all relates in some way. I think that kind of reminds me of the whole. There was a time I was like getting, I guess, more specific into the technical side of photography and video and stuff, and it got to a point where I started watching TV shows and movies differently because I started looking at like the way, in my mind, I'm like, how they frame that shot? Like, how many cameras are involved with this? Like, how they shoot that? And to be honest, it took away a bit of the enjoyment from the actual thing. So I try to slide a bit away from that and just look at what was on screen rather than like how it was set up. But it's pretty interesting because we only see the final product with all these things, but so much work and so many hours would go into just creating like a, I don't know, 10-second scene sometimes. It's pretty crazy.
Definitely, definitely. Well, I'm currently working through a book called like The Diary of a CEO. It's not too bad. Most of it I know. Great for someone that's like delving first time into the art of like critical thinking. But one of his main pillars that he talks about of success, the second pillar is, are you there, Darren?
I am here. Have I vanished?
The video's turned off.
Oh.
Maybe
I
that's
was
just
like,
a little Wi-Fi problem.
oh, okay, maybe. Oh, yeah, but you probably just see
Recording
the,
continues smoothly. Live video will return when the internet improves. So I was in the middle,
carry
but
on.
we'll just continue. We'll just continue. Darren
I
just
thought
had a
that was,
little a Wi-Fi incident.
I thought that was your art of storytelling, like really big breaks between where you're going, and I was like, this is good. I'm encapsulated.
That would have been good, but
Yeah.
anyway, the major pillar he talks of success. There's four of them, but the second one was the art of storytelling. People relate to storytelling. It's been all throughout the days, and yeah, so it's on point with what I'm currently learning, how to tell a good story.
Yeah, no, it's all interesting stuff. But yes, I can assure you, I'm still here. Don't worry. Shall we get into some basketball? Anything else
Let's
you'd like
do
to
it.
tick off?
Look, 9 minutes of us catching up. Clearly, we've missed each other. Let's start it off with the first game of the week. It was Adelaide versus New Zealand. What were your thoughts?
I think it's what we were touching on last week. Adelaide just got some more injected life from DJ. Like I tuned into the last half of that, and especially the fourth quarter where DJ Vasiljevic he was doing his thing and like hitting some deep threes, and even the New Zealand commentators were loving it, and he's just brought a good vibe to him. So they also got another win here. New Zealand. It was obviously that Cheatham injury. I don't know if you saw that. Zylan Cheatham injury, but I feel when I saw it, I was just like, I hate to be like a online doctor type looking at that situation, but it definitely looked like some sort of Achilles thing. But I think it's just a stress fracture in his foot, but still 6 to 8 weeks, which is obviously a big blow for them as well.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, injuries are crazy, and it is amazing what confidence does, and it is infectious. DJ enters with a lot of confidence, talking. He's loud, and he's bringing that confidence is obviously interacting a lot with the rest of their team, and they're getting it done. Illawarra versus Cairns, an epic little game winner.
Yep. We're used
You
to
want
it.
to
We
break
should
it
be
down?
used to it, right? Yeah, we should be used to it. I think Tyler Harvey's done this for a few seasons now where you just kind of know he's the one that's going to be taking that final shot. And it reminded me of that one he hit against, I think it was New Zealand last year. And that was just one of the great ones to me. Like, I think their season was their season was over, but they just kind of needed that win to help make the season feel a bit better for them. And that's exactly what that did. And I think this one was not similar because obviously we're so early in the season, but I think they needed that win, and once again it was him at the end. And yeah, it was a great mood. It was a great thing to watch.
It definitely was good. And what I found interesting, like the NBL made a nice little graphic. He was wearing the exact same type of shoes last time he hit his game winner. So
Really?
now I'm on the lookout. Does he wear these shoes every single time, or do these shoes attract a high chance of him hitting a game winner? So that's something to keep your eyes on. There was a certain type of Kobe's. They were like blue and yellow. I don't know what they're called. But if you've got a keen eye, let's follow this, because this could be a story that's unfolding right before our eyes.
Sound like you're breaking news on the scene. This could be a story. Just stick with us here. It would be funny if he literally wore those shoes every single game, but I'm happy to run with it if you are. There's definitely something in it on my front. There's something I'm frustrated from Cairns. What am I frustrated about, Jack? What do you think it is?
Well, first off, all we want is full rosters.
Yes. 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 And a big name of that is Taron Armstrong. I just want to see him. But, I mean, credit to Patrick Miller he's just super consistent. Tajima McCall's still in the States. I think he's just had another kid. Not sure how many he has. I'm going to say another because I think he already has one. But yeah, I just want to see them healthy. And especially Taron Armstrong. I've mentioned him a few times. I just want to see the kid out there. So hopefully, I think they're actually in Melbourne this week. So hopefully it's this one.
I agree. I mean, injuries are just no good. You want to see the best players playing. You want to see new guys in the league in particular playing, because you're like, an upcoming star. We want to see what he's capable of. We want to see how he's going, how he fits, and we got a little glimpse of it in the preseason. But it's about damn time we see it in the season, and I think everyone's excited for that.
Agreed. All right, first versus second. Please tell us how it felt to be out there versus Melbourne Tassie. I'm speaking of course.
Yeah, well, we got the loss, which always hurts, 90-82. And they're a good team. They came into our house. They played a great brand of basketball. They're clicking on the defensive end at a high level. They got 2 rim protectors that are world class, and their guards are getting up, being physical, and they took it to us. I mean, we started out strong. They wrestled it back, head into the second half, all tied up. Maybe we were down 1, and then they threw some different defenses at us, and it caught us off guard. And they came out with a really good win. Tough weekend for the Jackies.
Yeah, no, it was, and I think what you said before about Melbourne was just exactly what I think. Like, they're just so solid all around, and first of all, JLA and Huck Potty up there, like they just swap over, and you're like, can you guys give me a break, kind of thing? And then they just have so many different scoring options. It feels like it doesn't matter if 2 of their main guys are off. You just have someone else popping up and scoring, and it's like, geez, they're just so well rounded. But yeah, you guys and them always put on a good show. And yeah, you did it again. Yeah, I was going to say, Carl Bowen's jump shot. What do you think of that? It's a funny one. It's such an unorthodox thing. But to be fair, he was killing it against you guys. Like, he was knocking down shots. He had 17. It's always interesting when you're at live Melbourne games as well, and you hear people in the crowd react to him shooting jump shots, and they give a little ooh or an ah. But if the results like that, you can't argue it.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. He came in on a road game and hit 3 from 5. And so he's executing on that at 60%. If you're making that every game, I tell you what, they're going to be hard to guard, and good on him for coming in and doing his thing.
Don't change the thing with that jump shot. Now this one frustrated me as well. I don't know how Perth won. I was going to say won this, but they lost it. Brisbane 84, Perth 79. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I was just confused how Perth dropped this one. I don't know if you got a chance to see it, even though that would have been directly after your game. I think I'm not sure.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't. Did you get a chance to watch it, and what did you make of this one?
Yeah, so because obviously we finished our game, it was straight on after, but we were going into versing Brisbane on Sunday, so I watched this game 3 times.
Jesus. Okay.
Yes. So the way we do it though, there's a little insight. Like the coaches, so we have 7 iPads on the team. Like they're the team
Wow.
iPads, and
Yep.
the coaches will cut it up, and then so the game is like condensed, like 50, 60 minutes. So like free throws are skipped, timeouts are skipped, all of it's
Beautiful.
skipped. So it's just every single possession, and so they'll put that out. They'll put out our last game. So like, so say we wake up the next day and we show up at the airport, then it will have us versus Melbourne, then it'll have Perth versus Brisbane, and then it'll have like their personnel and breakdown and some of their plays and stuff like that. And so that's how we get ready. So you're watching this game back a lot quickly with a quick turnaround. You're studying Brisbane. And for this game, I mean, it's just Brisbane came out firing, playing defense, being aggressive, and Perth struggled to score in the first quarter. And I mean, yes, they wrestled it back, but it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of concentration, and it's very mentally and physically tiring to wrestle back a lead. So I think they started maybe 17-3, might have been the score. It was something close, and they just couldn't wrestle it back. And as we saw, Brisbane had a great weekend.
They really did. So we'll get into the other one later, but they were 2-0, and they find themselves like after some people were questioning what they were going to do this season, they're 4-4, the same as you guys. But my favorite play from that one was Tyrell Harris, and he kind of just like he basically just bumped Pinder a fair few times, and then the final one he just got rid of him enough to go up there and dunk it on him as well. And it was just you could tell he was. I found it funny because it was almost like in his head he was like basically impressed with himself. Like he was just like, damn, that was a really nice play. But good on Tyrell for that because yeah, obviously facing someone like Pinder, I reckon you're always going to be like amped up a little more than you normally would be.
It's cool. It's cool seeing Tyrell because he's someone that came into the league when he was 17 years old. I mean, he's 24 right now and he's been in the league for 6, 7 years. And it's interesting because the NBL hasn't seen a lot of him. I mean,
Yeah.
you talk to some of his teammates, Drim, Tanner Krebs, guys like this vouch for him as being one of the best centers in the league, but he just struggled to stay healthy. So if we could see this stretch of him staying healthy, him looking good, expect dominant things from him. Expect him coming out, blocking shots, grabbing rebounds, dunking on things, on people. And so when this is happening, his teammates and past teammates aren't surprised. They're not shaking their head. They're not surprised by it. They've seen it day in, day out. They've just struggled. His body has struggled with finding consistency in the NBL and being healthy and having that feel, which takes some time coming back from an injury. So he's someone to keep your eyes on. If he can stay healthy here, look to him making a big push in terms of that opportunity, that role on that team, and kind of taking that next step in his career as an NBL player.
Yeah, no, that's so true because it's like he kind of just like shows these flashes where you do get excited. You do start to think about like, hey, what can this guy actually become in the league? And then something happens where he might get injured or something happens. And sometimes all you want to see is consistent play. So hopefully we get that from Tyrell. But I want to ask you about Perth just quickly. Like so much has been made in the media about their situation and stuff. Do you reckon people are overreacting, or do you reckon that everyone has a right to kind of be worried about where they're at right now?
It's always hard. I mean, someone has to lose.
Yeah,
That's
true.
bottom line of sport, right? So
Yep.
there's so much pressure being applied on Adelaide. It's all people are talking about. Pressure, must get win, firing coach, freeing. What are they
Yeah.
doing? What's going on there? They win 2 games, right? They win some games. Boom. It switches. It's on Perth. I mean, Perth, boom, 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 fire coach, Bryce Cotton, this, that, this. And so if Perth comes out, wins 2 games this weekend, and Jack Jumpers lose another 2, and we go to 4 and 6, it's going to be flipped onto us.
Yeah.
Or Illawarra doesn't get a win this weekend, then it's all of a sudden going to be flipped onto them. So I think if you say it's just, I think there's always going to be 1 or 2 teams that are copping that heat. And so if you're at the bottom, it's going to be copped. Now, I think they cop it a little bit extra because of the standard that Perth has been held to for so long. I mean, They make playoffs every single year. They're an unbelievable organization. They got Bryce Cotton, who's league MVP and one of the toughest dudes to guard. So there's always going to be a bit of extra pressure applied. But I just think the bottom two teams are always going to have the media on them. They're going to have their fans expecting better. And in a league like the NBL, we kind of touched on this last episode, where you don't get benefits from losing. You don't get this draft pick that's coming around that's going to change the whole organization. So there's pressure to win every single weekend, and the bottom two just have to deal with the scrutiny that's going to come with it.
Yeah, nah. If someone does have to lose, like you said, it's a good point. Like, it doesn't matter who it is. If it's that whole winning solves everything. Like you said, Perth going to get a win. That people are going to back off them. Be like, hey, maybe they will work. Maybe it's completely fine. Next one, Phoenix won a 103 to 100. New Zealand, close one. Didn't get a chance to watch this closely, but I'm just impressed by the all-round play by Phoenix. Like, their starters just seem to spread the scoring load very well, and we touched on their culture a bit last week, but they're looking the goods. It's definitely both Melbourne teams are up the top right now.
I know, definitely both Melbourne teams are looking good. I think we can leave it right there because that's the situation right now. Southeast is playing great basketball. Offensively, they're tough to guard. You know, that it's led by Creaky, and everyone else is doing their job, and they're 4 in a row wins right now.
Yeah, something like that. Next one, Cairns Sydney. Good to see Cairns get the win. DJ Hogue was back for Sydney facing his former team, so nice little storyline there. But to me, it just looked like Sydney's starters kind of just didn't have a great shooting night. How many times in your career have you played all 40 minutes?
Never, to be honest.
Never.
Never.
Actually, it doesn't surprise me in Tassie, especially.
Yeah, no, never. I played 36 minutes yesterday, and that's the most I've ever played in an NBL game.
There you go. Bull Cold notched all 40 this game, so kind of cool. It's always interesting how that plays out. But again, that's just their bodies and men available pretty much. Melbourne Illawarra, take us home. Last few.
Melbourne is just doing what Melbourne is doing. Golding, 30 piece, 33. I just love watching him make shots.
You do. It's hard not to, really. Like, even sometimes that's all you want to see. Something like just him hitting those tough shots, having a laugh about it. He just enjoys himself out there, so it's good to see. Brisbane Tassie, I did expect you guys to bounce back, but I'm going to touch on this later. But you never know what's going to happen in the NBL, and Brisbane just are in a good little groove right now, even with Baines out and even with Shannon Scott out as well. So, what do you think? What did you think of your own performance? Nothing to be said.
I mean, Brisbane had what a weekend to come out 2-0 to defend their own place. Sobey was massive, hitting big shots at the end. I had a poor shooting weekend where I think I went 1 of 11 from the 3. And so when you lose a game by 3 points, when you lose a 3-point game, we had 2 chances to tie it up. Myself missing 1, JC missing 1 on the buzzer. And I mean, on the road, when you put yourself in a situation to be competing at that end, it's always this or that, and they pulled it out. They were the better team on the night.
I just had flashbacks to Jordan Crawford's attempt at the end there. That had drama written all over it. It just felt like I don't know. It felt like it was going in, to be honest with you. But no, it's just one of those weekends, and basically you just move on to the next, really.
Yep, that's all you can do. And I mean, we head into our practice tomorrow. We had a little shooting today, and tomorrow it's all how can we learn from this? How can we grow from this? How can we get better from this? And make sure that we're improving and using these as a positive experience rather than blaming, pointing fingers, and letting it affect our confidence and what we've got going on.
Last one on this, just before we jump into hype up and grateful for and all that fun stuff. I reckon if Brisbane keep this up, you can't look past Sobey as like a legit MVP candidate as well. I just reckon that has to be something in that. I think he's averaging his most points he ever has in his career. So career best form. I reckon that's definitely something that will continue if the wins are there.
100%. And I mean, we talked about this early in the season. Injuries are tough, And I mean, you never know how much someone is battling one when they return from an injury and how much it affects them, and then how long it takes to get back to the same form or even better form. It takes a long time.
Hype someone up. I just want to hype someone up. Go on a bit of a rant. Anyone that's caught our attention, just give them some love. That leads nicely into my hype up, actually, because I'm just going to hype up the whole damn league, because I don't know what's going to happen in the NBL sometimes. Like I said to you before this, that I had a fair bit on the weekend. I couldn't watch every game full on all the way through, but I literally, you just don't know what's going to happen sometimes. Like, you guys were like red hot form. You obviously dropped to Brisbane are suddenly in the middle of the ladder. Illawarra, like, were competing with Melbourne for most of it when they faced them. And I just enjoy that you genuinely can tune into like any NBL matchup, and you just don't know what's going to happen. You don't know who's going to walk away with those points, and it's nothing but a good thing for the league, even though it's very hard to predict. And I'm blaming the prediction thing on my. I'm still last in our Supercoach fantasy league, so that's tough. I reckon I don't know how many moves you've made or how often people are like jumping in that and like, you know, seeing how many games the teams are playing per round and doing it that way. But I'm gonna have to up my game because I'm just sitting on the bottom of that thing.
There you go. Well, I haven't touched it, so
You're higher than me.
I know I need to switch out Rob Lowe now that they're back, so I need to make some adjustments. But the fact that I'm doing better than you is not looking good for you, big fella.
That's actually not, because I've been legit trying for, well, the last few days and week especially. I'm just like, I'm going to have to make some proper moves, but oh well, that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
I like that. Well, I got some weird ones this week. My hype up is going to be smart recovery. Now, I wish this would lead into a sponsorship, but it's not. I just want to talk about...
Never say never.
Yeah, I just want to talk about recovery, man. I enjoy it. I've been enjoying the ice tub, hyping up that ice tub. It feels good. I get in it probably every second day, 8 degrees, sitting it for 10 minutes up to my neck. I'm enjoying that. I just bought a sauna, a little steam sauna. So steam sauna, just set it up before this podcast. So I'm about to go eat some food after this and then go sit in a little steam sauna for 15 to 30 minutes. And I'm just hyping up some recovery, man. Like taking some time out of your day to look after your body, look after your mind, and it's good stuff, and it's helping me get through this season. Back-to-back games, I'm feeling good. Got a workout in today, and so shout out to that recovery.
Recovery. It's got to be a massive part of why like people can stay healthy and why people can continue going for like as you get older and older. Like half the guys in the NBA, these like LeBron and Steph Curry, and that they're still the best in the league, and they're getting on in age. And I think it's been well documented how much LeBron spends on recovery and stuff and all that stuff that you've just mentioned. So, I mean, it clearly works for him. So you're heading in the right direction. I was going to say, you actually answered this question, but I was actually curious how many minutes, like how long people spend in ice baths, but it's normally around 10 minutes, did you say?
It's a bit of different if you want to do some hot, cold, 3 minutes. They do say you want the water to be below 10 degrees to get all the benefits. I just love 10 minutes because it's just good. There is some science to back it, but it just feels good. It also like hits a point at about the 6-7 mark where like your body starts to become warm, like your heart pumps. It's a weird sensation. And you do sometimes when you're first starting out, that can take a while. Like can take 8-9 minutes. And so that's why I personally like the 10-minute mark.
Yeah, right. Actually, I was talking to Mitch Creek yesterday, and he says he does an ice bath twice a day. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how. Yeah.
I think this is new.
Impressive.
He just got one in his home. I saw on his Instagram. He did up like an old fridge, turned it on sideways, and him, his partner, and a couple of his friends been doing it in the mornings at night. That one's been sitting at 3 or 4 degrees, so that's a bit colder than mine. But it is good fun. It definitely, you feel the mental and the physical benefits. I can promise you that. Wow, this is a negative space. I'm just going to start chucking up random things I'm grateful for.
This is incredible. This is the best grateful for I've ever heard.
I'm backing up a little bit. This week really is about the body for me. And so I'm grateful for my weights coach in Adelaide. This is like my off-season guy. He's a guy I also check in with during the season. So today we got a little lift in, talked about the body. Eduardo is his name. He's at True Function on Instagram. But if you guys have been watching, I've been dunking the basketball, and so this is rare. But I'm getting bouncier. I'm getting stronger. My feet are moving quicker, and it's all thanks to this guy Eduardo. So I'm grateful that I met him, grateful for him. Jacob Wiley is actually the person that introduced me to him when he was at Adelaide. And I've been training with this guy for about 2 years now, fixed my back problems. And then we kind of like had a lot of readjusting to do. So I had to learn how to land properly, how to move properly, create mobility in my joints and allow my body to go to places that it should be able to go. And then in the last kind of 2-3 weeks, we've said, okay, let's start adding some athleticism. Let's start building your body up. And I'm noticing it. I'm jumping higher than I have, running faster, moving better. And so shout out to Eduardo, True Function on Instagram, if you've got any problems and you want them fixed, because he'll fix them and make you healthier, move better, happier, stronger. So shout out to my boy Eddie, is what I call him.
You did catch a lob on the weekend, didn't you? I forgot about that. There you go.
I caught a lob dunk.
I'll tell you what, the last spiel you just said, you could have easily told me that you were reading that straight off a piece of paper, because that was really smooth in terms of a sales pitch of going to Eduardo. I don't know, you just said that very well. So maybe chop that up and just send it to him, and if he has a podcast or anything like that, just chuck it in the middle there for a little advertisement.
I like that. Well, I didn't read it off, but eventually, like as we've seen on my Instagram, I'm doing some shooting stuff. I'm going to release a shooting program, and then eventually me and him are going to collab together and release like some like weight room programs for people and stuff like that. So eventually we're going to be in the works creating some cool content together.
That's cool. I like the sounds of that. The podcast has a theme because I'm grateful for my 30s. It gets a hard knock sometimes. My mum said the 30s were the best years of her life, and I just think you got to look positive, because you're going to have some big things in your 30s traditionally. Most people, marriage and kids and families getting older and all that stuff. So grateful for my 30s. I reckon it'll be a good decade. Stop knocking at people. Stop hating on it.
I like it. Are you feeling young?
I feel exactly as I did in my 20s. But no, I'm feeling good. I don't know about young. Maybe just like I don't know what the right word is, but I think when you're 30, you've kind of just you're a proper adult now. I feel like you've found yourself, and yeah, I think you just know yourself better, to get really deep.
Yeah, I like that. Well, it is an interesting one, because I think in our sporting world, and you're part of that, 30 is starting to look old.
Well, true.
In
Yes.
our profession, but really, in terms of life, it's only just begun, and it's only really the beginning of everything.
That's a great point. Yeah, I mean, in terms of being an athlete, sure, maybe you could say 20s are the best years of your life, but in terms of being a human, I reckon the 30s have something to be said for that.
Well, you're a house owner now. You've found the love of your life. You're working in one of your dream jobs. I mean, can it really get much better? That's and now, so you've built that. Now you get to enjoy that in your 30s and continue to build on it. That sounds pretty exciting to me.
That's a very good way of putting it. You built your life up, and now you get to enjoy it. There you go. Shout out 30s.
Shout out to 30s. We have some listener questions here. Now, I just mentioned what we've been building. What is your favorite thing so far about being homeowners, or yourself being a homeowner?
That's a great unintentional segue by yourself. Did not mean that at all, I don't think. But if you did it very well. Favorite thing? I don't actually know, because my first repayments just came out of my bank yesterday, so that wasn't a great feeling. But I think it's just the satisfaction, like you said, that I don't know. You found a place. You've settled. You've got all those things in life that you kind of you've been building towards. So it's just a generalized thing that is a favorite part of it, that you just feel some level of satisfaction about it all, really.
Yeah, 100%. I love that. I mean, we've talked about this bit before, and my answer at the time was like, the ownership, you can make it blah, blah, blah. You feel, we're more accountable to it all. But right now, I'm going to say I'm building a little studio room. I got my little studio, my little office room. I got some nice lights. I'm setting up something that I can go to, I work in. It's peaceful. I mean, I feel motivated and inspired in. So I'm loving this room. It's my favorite part of the house. And so that's what I'm enjoying.
Love it. Jack gave me a quick little tour of his setup there. Not in person, obviously, but just moving the camera around. But he's legit. It's legit over there. That's it. Last question, actually. Thoughts on playing the next two home games in North Tasmania? Are they both in the Silverdome, or is there another one? They both are. Yep.
Yep. So they're both in the Silverdome, and it's always a little love-hate thing. One, is people got to remember we're defend the island. So we're a Tasmanian brand. We're as much northwest, North Tassie as we are south. And so the fans up there are incredible. We're going to get up there and we're excited to play. And then we'll do some promo work the next day, hang out with some fans, have a little family day. And so all of that's really exciting. The only negative would be like, in terms of during a season, is traveling's always tiring. And I mean, it's another night outside of your bed and my home and my little studio. And so that stuff always kind of, in a season, travelling is your least favourite part for most guys, whether it's flying to Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth. And so doing a little road trip, staying in a hotel is never the most enjoyable part. But we're really excited to get up there, play in front of that crowd. We're 1-3 right now up there in the Silver Dome, so we got to get some dubs and even this out so we can end this season 3-3 in the Silver Dome.
For someone who's geographically challenged like myself, how far away is that from where you are now to Silver Dome?
About 2.5 hours.
All right, thought it was closer for some reason. There you go.
Yeah, so a little bit of a drive, So we'll drive up the day before, stay the night, drive back the day after.
Very nice. Good one. Another episode down. Always nice catching up. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We always appreciate it. Jack, you can take us home. I'll give you the honour.
Well, thank you very much, Darren. It is an absolute pleasure, you guys hanging out with us. It's also a pleasure hanging out with Darren every week. Up the Jackies. Remember one thing. Rough seas. I messed the quote up. Rough seas. No sailor wants smooth seas. The rough seas make the sailor's quality. Something like that.
I know the one you're trying to say. Trust me.
I wouldn't. I can tell you one thing right now. I wouldn't want to go an NBL season undefeated. So we will continue to improve like we did with this microphone quality, and that's what it's all about. Have a great day, guys. Let's go, Jackies. Let's go, Shooters Pod. Thanks for joining us.